Okay, we're doing a part 2. So we talked about it because I feel like part 2 is just like, do you want to know the kicker? We left off talking about the chariot, how you saw a portal open where it was like, I understand that this is a sinking ship. I can already see that. I can see that I'm being locked away in hell, and even still God gives me favor. God opens a portal that says, you can come on. This one has your name on it. You won't be able to save anybody, but you can be spared. It's up to you. God really doesn't care. God just wants you to know your destiny wasn't for you to perish. You can leave this. This isn't your fate. And so if you walked away, you found immediately, because the only thing you have to walk away from is just that you're not attached to your achievement of the thing. That I built all this, or I invested in all this, or I filled all this up. If you can get over that, because what does it matter if all of this shit is in hell? Immediately you're in victory. Immediately you walk out victorious. Like, it doesn't feel like you're doing your fucking victory fucking pimp walk out of here, but you are doing that. And people will immediately know you as way stronger than all the bitches who are corralled on the Titanic right now. You're not on the Titanic right now. You're not. You're actually standing in your God strength, because now it's known how strong you had to be like, this is scary. God is giving prophecy right now. We can see the signs of where this is going. And now I'm being asked to be an individual, to individuate, to say to God, I know what my fate is, and it's not to go out like this, and to stand in that strongly. You know what I mean? I'm not going out like a sucker no more. You know what I mean? And then it's so crazy, because I feel like that damn, there's just a beautiful, this is y'all right now. Hold on, this is beautiful. Look at you guys. It's takeoff. Look at this. That's ascending right there. You guys are shooting straight up. You're headed straight for the stars. Because I was just about to say, it's like you guys are in this place where this apology, or this like coming back around frequency, you've been really circling it because you didn't know how God was going to make a portal for you to say the apology, because the apologies essentially have to do with you were cutting things. There was a lose-lose situation that you made out of survival, where when you were thinking like, if they thrive, I die, or that there was some correlation between your life and death and something else, and that's why you justified murder. Murder, right? But it's kind of like no shade, no tea. No shade, no tea. But it's like, you think about the karma that someone like a Caribbean gal, okay, Miss Rihanna right now, like, okay, you have niggas shooting at your house, okay. You're not, listen, with the schizophrenic bitches right now, like, they're motivated by spirit. So one of the things that I will say is, like, one of the things people grossly overlook about Rihanna that just kind of, in my opinion, really made her fall off, which people would, like, I feel like right now to say that is like, people are like, what? The same way that they would probably slap me about Beyonce or something, right? But in my opinion, Rihanna fell off 10 years ago, and it had a lot to do with this desire for sanctioned murder. You know, we all know that this is one of the biggest black female billionaires out, and yet for whatever reason nobody talks about Rihanna like she's exactly like Jeff Bezos and fucking Elon Musk. Like, no one holds any critique to Rihanna at all. But like, we didn't need Fenty Beauty, we didn't need Fenty Beauty, we don't need any of those things, but your desire to continue to build that empire, like it's a girl boss story, instead of a story of slavery and like sanctioned murder and exploitation, right? And waste. That's really what the legacy is. That's really what the production is. None of us are wearing them drawers from 10 years ago, right? It just fed into consumers' culture, inflated your pockets, but in exchange, you know, I feel like it took a lot of your creative abilities. But now in the year 2026, also, you have demons on different ethers that hate your guts, because it's a representation of the fragmentation of your own soul. So now there's all these reflected motherfuckers. And again, you ask any Caribbean individual, indigenous to the Caribbean Sea, ask them how they deal with karma. There's not gonna be What happened to you is between you and God. In terms of, they're looking at it as like, why did that happen to you, brother? Like, niggas don't just have shit like that happen. So we can't just be like, oh, famous people are just so famous and desirable. When fucking tragedy strikes them, it's just a bunch of, everybody else is just a crazy bitch who just wants to ruin their perfect life. Niggas get shot every day. So I feel like it's like that. Because right now, you know, again, when God told you to tell the truth and pick the path that wouldn't burden you, I think a lot of people stayed comfortable. They stayed in their position. I'm going to go get a monkey ball. Reflect. Okay. So, I told you girls, when God's talking to you directly, they're not talking about the bullshit. They're talking about, everybody's going to have to get shot. Because, hell no, y'all have taken from too many people. A surprise for celebrity stardom. You girls will realize one day. You probably won't because you're not that gifted. But an album, piece of art, it's not a good enough reason to overproduce. Like, me and Dennis were just talking about this. We come from a very specific echelon of artists that are balanced in our awareness and not in our ego. That we didn't do this for celebrity. Like, nobody wants to go somewhere and be recognized by strangers and bombarded. That's not the, there's no need to add that into this. You girls will see how contrived it all is. Y'all blame the journalists and the camera guys and the paparazzi. Who the fuck is calling the paparazzi? Don't let these guys play you. It's not what you fucking think. No, they're punching the fucking paparazzi cameras now because it's old. But once upon a time, they walked into a ring by choice, consciously. I was like, don't you want your picture taken? Don't you want people to know you? That's the forbidden fruit that the devil fucking put in your face. All you celebrities out there. And don't lie, because you want it, because you can make a label without needing to be a celebrity. That's why all these celebrity labels suck ass. You know, no shade. Actually shade, fuck it. You know, you don't need any of that to make an album. You don't need 40 billboards to drop an album. And 90% of the time, you do the fucking blimp in the sky talking about fucking Marty Supreme, and the shit is, it's like the karmic debt in and of itself is just gonna, it makes the movie bad off top. It makes the album bad off top. Just because it's too, it's like, why do you deserve to have a rocket blast off in space over something you contribute? Even if it does reach millions like Michael fucking Jackson, I mean, you're just one life. So artists who don't move from a place of ecology, from a place of caring about our environment, environmentalism, you know, artists that don't give a shit about any of that are very unattractive to me. Practice. Because I'm like, ew, you don't care about your imprint, your blueprint? Nothing? So anyways, back to what this message is about. It's like, you are realizing now that the apology that you avoided, the accountability, this is really more like accountability, not even just like sorry, but like things you need to go back for and like offer the full spectrum of like what you were feeling about the situation, which I think would have helped you be, you know, be presented as a bit more accountable as an individual, are being prompted with this. Because it just, to me, it looks like in the near future, or the way that this is like panning out is like, you would know intimately right now that God, everyone knows that. I just feel that way. I just feel like everyone knows very intimately what the chariot was when it pulled up to your house. And I think your spiritual bypassing would have either gotten you to take it serious and respond to the information God was presenting, or you just didn't do anything. That's how I feel. I feel like many people who are on the path of just being mad burdened right now. Because I told you guys, you're about to be put in, again, back to Rihanna, that's like a life or death situation. Niggas are shooting in your window and you're at the house. So it's like, maybe like, and who knows for their specific life, but for everything that God guides you through, now you're on the path of like having to unpack that there are people you can't even kind of account for that feel strongly enough about you to want to murder you. Doesn't matter. There's no point in calling someone crazy for being a murderer. We just need to like talk about like, when I really think about my life, it's like I really diffuse energy. I'm really a good person to all people, even bad guys. Why? Because I don't need niggas plotting my murder. You know what I mean? I don't. So I feel like that's kind of the scenario here where it's like, either way, judgment gets conferred. God's not fucking condoning murdering. Those guys go down immediately. Obviously, they go to jail. They knew that. They weren't scared to die. You know, but I have more respect for the guys who are like, they stand on something, I guess. Like, that's what I'm saying. We need to look deeper into the story because somebody wouldn't just be willing to go to fucking prison, even if they're in a state of psychosis. Some aspect of their soul is like fighting for fucking honest justice. And it does track because you are an unaccountable billionaire that no one's ever critiqued. So if you always get some fucking light skin privilege or something, and then all of a sudden it's like the universe, a fucking force you don't even expect, will serve you up your justice cold. And you can write it off if you want to, but you might want to heed the warning of God right now. You will lose my protection. Because I think the problem is that some of you girls think that there are no threats that God is protecting you from. What? There are plenty, bitch. There are plenty, bitch. Every day I wake up and I look at God and I say, I know these bitches want to try it. And I'm glad that God's on their neck every day about me, not to even come close. But see, that's why my God doesn't play about me. When I go back to the 370 plus fucking law, God, that's how I act. I get on here and I'm like, see God, and this is what I can't stand about your children. They get on my fucking nerve. You know? I get on here and I do my little talky. Because the only fucking thing that has ever pacified me is God's response. I am a very intelligent intellectual. I probably have like, in theory, like if it was just up to the humans of this earth, it's going to be like a life of insatiable hunger. Like I'm dying for intellectual thirst to be quenched, and it's just, it may not always happen. And yet, when I talk to the highest consciousness, this was something to me that feels like it has so much information that I desire, that I seek, that I can obtain at any rate. And they always give it to me just, like, they don't make any mistakes. The divine, my ancestry, anything metaphysical that has a higher consciousness than I do. So I try to be in communion with the girls regularly. I tried to make a media studio so that girls can learn how to do that regularly. And, you know, whatever, because I feel like it's a good vibe. But again, you know, you're going to have to take a real spiritual man's approach to the fucking chaos malarkey that's going to go down right now. Because you're going to be like, what the fuck? This shit, it's because you're seeing the collapse of our pseudo justice systems. It's like, can you, like, that's why I keep trying to tell you girls, it's like, I don't know what, it's like, I don't know what you girls are even protecting yourself with. Nothing is usually the answer. Because I'm like, you guys don't understand. It's like, what, a police officer can't pull up fast enough. They could maybe stop more harm from harming, but they can't stop that initial harm. A lot of niggas know that. You seeing every nigga out right now that's like mobilizing their spirit because of Aquarius, lighting the fire in their ass. That's like, fuck it, nigga. They be like, death to America type shit. They be like, fuck it, I'm on a plane popping out. Fuck it. And they're in their life, in their story. Like, you just need to know, stop with the like, oh my, like the terrorist take of like things that terrorize our lives is corny, because you guys are real. That's why you always getting attacked by terrorists, because you have to understand what kind of rage you got to get to when you're not afraid to die. That's something that our governments don't know how to navigate right now, because there's too many motherfuckers that they know they can't they can't let this stuff hit the airwaves, brother, because they gonna like, you know how many people are gonna realize if you're not scared to die, you can get a lot of shit done. That's why I try to tell y'all, why are you not worried about how you do people? Like I said, if I see a nigga ready to dispatch a motherfucking bomb in broad daylight, if I saw a I'd be like, that's a real ass motherfucker right there. There's a lot of shit to want to drop a bomb about. A lot of shit that's wrong on this motherfucker. It's a real ass motherfucker. That's a real soldier. But y'all don't think like that. Y'all don't understand that. And you're still coming from the hoity-toity capitalist thing, thinking capitalism will save you from a lunatic, schizophrenic bitch. It won't. It won't. Because someone who is dealing with a fragmented soul, or who has possessions of, or who, it's like someone who's on some sort of spectrum in terms of how the third dimension might process them, like, they're dead ass. Like, you ever hear somebody, you know what I mean? It's how y'all did Charles Manson. It's like they're being dead ass right now. There is not a single thing these motherfuckers are lying about. I just want you to know that the bitches who are in prison, what the fuck they got to lie for? The fuck they got to lie for? So, in my opinion, when I look at a billionaire who's like, oh my God, I just have to get out, it's fishy behavior. Somebody came and shot up your shit 10 times. Now you want a private jet somewhere else? You know exactly what's coming for you. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. So then don't let the general public be freaking out on your behalf. Because these girls know why they're being fucking done like this. I told you girls all the time, all y'all's bad luck and misfortune, you know why. You be fucking with entities you have no business fucking with. And y'all knew that. And y'all knew that. And this is that time where I just feel like, you know, it really is spirit first. As if you girls keep blacking out and thinking that's not what's happening here, it is. So now really freaky Piscean spiritual shit's gonna start happening all over the place. And it's like, can someone just come to my house and shoot me up? What the fuck? It's gonna make you feel like, God, what the fuck? You're probably gonna be like, wait, what? Where's my protection? And then you're gonna realize, yeah, you have to develop a sense of protection. You have to develop that. You don't have that experience because it's not something you're curating for yourself. So, you know, just be aware that the protection that is now, again, disillusionment, like, maybe nobody's ever tried it, but it doesn't even mean that you've been living a protected life. I think people are sitting with harsh, and like I said, I just talk. I'm gonna be sensitive to nobody. Nothing will happen to you in this life that you didn't deserve in this one or the past life. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Ain't nobody a victim in this bitch. Because if I sit up here and just tell you girls, these girls attack me, but I take accountability. I know why in this life my family wanted to kill me. Because I used to exploit niggas in my past lives. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I got dealt, I understand. Because the whole point from God about mirroring that back to you in karmic ass, evil ass situations is because God wants you to come into wholeness and to actually have you choose different. I have learned after being fucking targeted for death threats by everyone that I love. You know what I've learned from that? That's how I used to show up. Now I will not choose that behavior. I don't even want to retaliate no more. I do not participate in that. And that's really God's goal, is to get all of our disobedience out of us by giving us a spoonful of whatever the fuck we are obviously concocting. So, you know, you've got this sort of Knight of Cups reverse, this sort of repentance energy, this sort of accountability that you need to take spiritually. Because a lot of people won't understand that's a spiritual scenario. The news is going to be like, what we know about the crazy motherfucker, the woman who was showing signs. Y'all, everyone is still a human being though. So like, you know what it takes when you be like, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face. You know what would get you there. So it's not about calling somebody crazy. It's about like, this woman is literally saying like, but that's a real person who's really feeling real feelings. Like, unlike you fake ass feeling ass motherfuckers, I'll always respect a motherfucker who's like really feeling what they're going through. One of the things I hate about being around you bitches is like, God, y'all lie about everything you feel. Like, nothing you say that you're feeling is actually something you feel. And that to me is just like, it makes me uncomfortable because I don't know what to do with that. Because yeah, I'm popping off. Yes, I'm tweaking. But I'm really mad. So, but you know, I hate the bitch who sees somebody else get mad and now they're like, well, I'm mad. It's like, what are you mad about? So just, you know, an aside for, you know, contemporary current events, since we're talking Pisces season and we're talking about the death to the age of Pisces, where it's like, I mean, you might just get, it's not even a deeper connection. It's like, you might just have karma where it's like, because of your unchecked spirituality, your lack of balance at a spiritual level, you are now in alignment with certain frequencies. And it could be as deep as it is. It's like you align this person had there's an alignment in what you need. This person has a motivation to like project whatever's going on with them and do something about it. And you have the tainted reputation that matches that projection. And so here you are, Knight of Cups reverse, realizing that it's like, I do need to go back to you know, the Five of Swords. The whole point of this is like, even if it seems really random and disconnected, the first thing that's going to come to your consciousness is what you've actually done wrong spiritually, which is Five of Swords. Capitalist, Five of Swords, everyone. Because your derivative is money, it's not helping people, even though you're exploiting people to get money. So your medium is people, your mode is cash, and now you're getting shot at. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, it's like simple math at this point, right? And so this is it though. You have the stain of Five of Swords in what God really wanted you to choose. Because this thing will make you heal. I think you're so sitting here, it's like, we're not aligning, this is it, I'm not going to follow this path, this isn't matching me. And God's like, right, because I don't want you, you're an asshole right now. I don't want you to stay like you are. That's why I'm trying to bring you in things that are destined and fated to evolve your soul. So that maybe you can actually show up and be the fucking husband to the bride and stop playing fucking dress up. But you can't be that unless you fucking heal. But it's like you girls didn't heal what you were doing with what your spiritual issue was. Which is a lot of you niggas murk people spiritually. And you don't even realize you do that. I think that's what, I would hate to wake up in 2026 and like wake up and realize like I tried to assassinate spiritually. Some of you don't know your spirit was so unchecked. You've been so in the third dimension that like you actually show up spiritually as like an assassin. Like you like kind of sin for people spiritually. So some of you are even realizing like all this beef, like low key you started it. Low key. Because you weren't awake in your spirit, so you didn't know you sent for some shit. So now you can't even go back and be like, oh, can I even really talk about that? Because I guess I started that. It's like that right now. The fear space, brother. Look at this Inferno. Look at Dante's Inferno. Look at the 7, right? A lot of people are going to go to hell over this Empress. The Divine Mother. A lot of people are being corralled right now for abuse of the feminine. The divine feminine. The feminine aspect of God. Mother God. There's Father God, Mother God. Aspects of the whole. Okay, I have to spill the tea. I feel like this is like tea time. The outcome of this reading is the Emperor in reverse. This has to do with, it actually is rooted in the divine feminine. If you would have chosen the wrong masculine, you would have been in hell too. Yes. Because I feel like that's the outcome. I feel like people are realizing it's about who they married. You might even be in a situation where like you're third dimensionally, it's like I got cheated on or I'm not in the wrong or like whatever, but you're actually realizing like the karma's not being divvied out like you're a victim. Like wait what my emperor is like cheating on me, or wait what, like my emperor is not even like, wait what, how is that happening to me even though like I didn't, like third dimensionally, like I'm not the one who did anything. It goes back because it looks like, because again, remember the feminine principle is the creative force, so the one that makes the plan is going to be the feminine. So unfortunately, God is going back, and a lot of punishment for devising the plan goes back to the feminine. So I see a lot of feminines like waking up right now after a certain level of disillusionment, and they're like, oh shit, I'm getting the fucked karma. I'm getting the 9 swords now in my back because God is holding me responsible for the time that I knew this wasn't my masculine. I knew this was not mine. And I still chose to put them on a path that would only lead to burdens. This is like, and I guess the reason I'm using Rihanna as an example, I don't have a personal stake in that. I think it's literally what they're channeling to me because like, again, I tried to talk to you guys too because I was like, I just don't feel like that marriage is honest. One, it has no foundation. We're not together long enough for us to be having children with no covenant, no, like, your marriage is your fucking insurance to your kids. Because when you have baby daddies out of wedlock, okay, you're fucking your kid over so fucking much because they don't even have there was never a covenant that these two bloodlines are going to come together to consciously make something. You know? One thing that I will always respect is my parents realized, like, no matter what, if we're bringing kids into this world, we kind of have to follow through with the fucking marriage covenant so they have a sense of identity. It can be karmic is all hell on what it is, but again, you know, that loosey-goosey shit is crazy. And that's what I'm saying, is you guys didn't have a foundation with these people that you're like letting yourself just nut in and just like fucking slosh it around. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But I'm seeing there is some feminine frequencies right now that are getting deeply concerned by God, because they have taken an emperor that belongs to a different story. That is just because if you're misaligned to something, both parties belong to a different story. The feminine is deeply reflecting right now, though. I fucked myself, because it doesn't matter what temporarily you thought you got out of the dynamic. It's like, I'm getting fucked from the back, because it's like, this isn't my nigga neither. Like, this person actually doesn't meet my needs either, yet we're claiming the palace ourselves. We've made a palace. We maybe even made, you know, kid, like light, right? And then it's the same thing for then you're also realizing though, like, because whether it all started to the disillusionment is what I'm hearing, whether it all started to unfold because maybe the feminine was hyper focused on how the masculine's stepping out, like, oh, I know he, like, maybe there was a situation where like it's proven that you're masculine, you're not for him. But I think there was still a part of the feminine that was lying to herself that was like, but I'm for you. So then I think for a long time, feminines were like weaponizing. What I'm picking up on this timeline is like there's this misaligned feminine that is in a covenant, non-real covenant, a faulty covenant, that is now being like, because you're for me. So then there's this idea of like manipulation to keep, because there's a denial about the truth, which is that if it's misaligned for one partner, it's misaligned for both partners. That is what I'm seeing right now. This is a crazy download. So there was never actually a victim, because there are people who are in marriages where it was like, oh my God, like the woman was so disempowered the whole time, she didn't get to do anything, da-da-da-da. But what's humbling at this time is God is actually serving up the karma to the feminine who thought like, oh, you thought that you were just going to be able to play victim feminine, though? You're not, because why is God not going to let the feminine be a victim, not an International Women's fucking Day or month, right? Why is God not going to let you do that? Because God was looking at you like, you're all powerful. Women are responsible for the human race population. Women exclusively are the entire ones responsible for the niggas that are on this planet right now. So women have to take accountability for the fucking shit, right? Donald Trump has a mother, right? These niggas, every fucking global leader has a fucking mom that brought that shit bag onto the fucking, you know what I mean? So we can't also be like, women can't also be victims and also be divine feminines, because the divine feminine in definition is the creative force. They create life. So it's like how I do my husband. I'm like, ain't Dennis, that when people hold you to high character standards in your life as a 10th house stellium, just know it's because like when niggas see you with 85 published, polished albums, they're gonna be like, whatever non-exceptional thing you might show, they're not gonna take it, because they're like, you made 80 something albums, there's no way you don't know how to do this, you know what I mean? So it's kind of giving that frequency where it's like, you mean to tell me you birthed motherfuckers onto this planet, fucking let your bones break apart and shit, and you want to sit up here and tell me you're a victim? That it's like, what? No, like, my masculine, like, walked out on me. Like, that's what oh my God, I'm getting a huge frequency right now. These bitches, it's absolutely about this shit. These bitches right now, I'll tell you right now, girls, this don't got nothing to do with me. That's what I'm saying, straight channel. These bitches really thought that they were going to be able to get away with a sob story, which is like, oh my God, what? My nigga, like, ruined this. My nigga, no. There's always going to be a partner that could trigger the breakup or could trigger the whatever. But misalignment will show evidence of the bugs, okay? You just off top being misaligned to this thing in general is why it's demise. Because remember, we take it back to the original message that we posted, just part 1. That whole Titanic. You boarded the Titanic, bitch. You did. You and that nigga got on that boat, right? You boarded this, and you, with all these faulty contracts that are collapsing at this time, there's always going to be someone that's like, what? Me? But it's like, the mature thing would be to realize that I'm not a victim. Like, even leaving Fresh Monkey, I'm not a victim. I went into this covenant as well. These people were always what they were. That's what I had to take accountability for. Ain't nobody to get fired. Ain't nobody to talk shit about, because it was always like this. Only thing that there was for me to do was to speak my piece about what was unfair and move on. Because I'm accountable. I wasn't a victim here. I got stuff out of this. So what? I got the cuntiest film set I've had yet. This was an incredible run for the studio. We have really quite literally kept people alive with the ability to like film in a health and wellness space. So yeah, we're good, we're even. But again, I just feel that way, where it's like, if you're the feminine that's trying to play victim, God is on your ass right now. Because yes, the masculine principle can be seen as not, I feel like there's a narrative right now where the masculine is showing, is showing up as like there's like evidence that this person is like not, like I said, it could be that like, oh my God, we found out the husband is cheating, you know, or some shit, right? It could be that, sure. But then it's like, you know, it's like, I hate to just fucking bring these things up, but it's always way deeper, you know, when it's like when a couple or when someone in a partnership like fucking kills themselves. Like somebody who's like, oh, I'm always happy in this, and then they like end up dying or something, you know? Hold on, we got people coming up to the shit ski. So it's like that right now, where it's like someone could be the like fucking widow who's like, oh, I'm so broken, but like there's obviously like accountability to be taken, because a lot of people will never say this when someone dies or when a divorce has to happen, that it was like, you guys probably should have never been married, you know. It's kind of funny because we have a regular that comes in here, and he's a cop, but he's like a black guy, and he's like a black cop, and you know, he always comes in, I always try to really encourage people to utilize the cafe. I think it's very needed for like human life, like this type of like ideation vibe. So we had a really long conversation with him the other day. We were just like hanging out for like an hour or so. Somebody from the shop, it was just us. And he was just so cool. Funny thing, he's a black Capricorn cop. So it's like, you know, but we were just chatting, and he was, you know, saying how much he had recently just got out of a divorce, or finalized a divorce last year. And we were like, wow, oh man, like, you know, it's like a lot. And he was like, yeah, and he was so grounded about it. But you can tell this is an individual who's really, he takes a lot of accountability, I think. And I was actually enlightened by some of his perspective on relationships, because he was one of those people who's like, I 100% can say that my marriage dissolution was actually because I married the wrong person. And I feel like he's coming through right now for me to tell you guys, like, this black cop is coming in here, mind you, he's a black cop, it's like, you know, it's a lot. But he's coming in here and he's like just openly forward and being like, no, the problem with what happened in my marriage, because obviously there's always going to be the incident cited, and there's all the dynamics that you waste your time picking up, but he literally was like, but the thing is that is not who I should have married. That was not that. And I think 90% of the problem is that, like, you guys have gotten yourself wrapped up in these stories and going back and forth and trying to mitigate feelings and da-da-da-da. And I know I sounded harsh, and I think people would, you hate the situation you're in, right? Like, does it matter if you're a baby mama who has like like a lot of people with baby mamas and fathers, they're like, I was like laughing at a fucking meme because this nigga was like, well, we could just be together, you know, like we could just be together. I feel like once you have a fucking baby with someone, it does create this like intimacy of like familial, you know, ties. So it's just like, I guess we could just be like together, right? Like, but I feel like the issue that comes with that sort of like outpouring of just like complacency, I guess, is that like you can really lose sight of the fact that it's like, we really should have never done this though. We can't, like, no matter how many times we do the back and forth, the co-parent, the fucking enchilada, it's like, obviously we mixed where we shouldn't have mixed. That's probably what's producing these feelings of deeper depth than the average person. I've like watched your vagina break open, like, yeah, you know, your blood is running in my kid just like my blood is running in my kid. That's a level of intimacy. But at the same time, we have to be more like our black cop friend here in this regard. And we have to be aware that it's like, if the bottom line was like the scenarios, like this is not the person you should have. And when I say marriage, I just mean like going into these irreversible, deep covenants, claiming that things are filling or are sufficing a certain criteria for you, that they're not actually sufficing. And if that was the origins of it, stop trying to play house, because trying to play house, it's like I feel like people have gone on really long cycles punishing themselves, and they need to do the WT thing. They need to do the Wanda Taylor thing. My mom was like the GOAT of this. She was so enlightened with her perspective, which is like, nope, no matter how you like want to spend it, it's like we really should not have been like fraternizing in that way. Hey.